Keza here today, bringing you a new getting started tutorial for the Ultima Online Renaissance server. If you do not have the client and the launcher, you're going to want to go to the main web page, uorenaissance.com, and go ahead and download that. At the download page, it should be the one at the very top, so just get that going. Once you're in it, the launcher should open up looking like this. It will likely ask you to update. Just go ahead and update. It might take a few minutes. And then when you're ready, you can go to the options, select which client you want. I'm going to be showing this with the new Classic UO client, or CUO. Go through the character creation process, and you should be starting out in a town called Aklo as a young player. Young just means that you won't get attacked by other players or monsters unless you attack them first. Anyways, you see me here going through a bunch of options. Classic UO client has a custom options menu with a lot of stuff in it. So you might want to go in there. You don't have to. It's just I already know what my settings are, so I'm in here tinkering with stuff. Go ahead and adjust your screen size by grabbing the little blue circle at the bottom right corner and then just dragging it to make your screen however big you want. Definitely want to open up world maps. You should see that on your options at the top. World maps is great. You can add all kinds of markers to it and just do so many things, and it's very informative. Can tell you all the names of the buildings and everything around you. So definitely get world maps open. You don't have to keep it very large. One more thing I would recommend looking at in the options is the counter menu. It's a great visual way to keep track of any items you're commonly using, such as reagents, bandages, or other. You can make it however many rows or columns you want. So once you're done with all that, go ahead and look at your skills. You may not know what you want to do at first. Obviously I do. I have most of the stuff locked here. To lock or drop a skill, you just hit the little arrow on the side, and if you point it down, that means you'll be dropping that skill once you hit the 700 skill point cap. What you see me doing here is I've created a new group and I'm dropping all the skills into it that I plan on using. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. But down at the bottom next to the new group area is also a thing called Show Real. That just shows you your real skill value in that area versus the usable skill, and the usable skill can be as much as 10 to 15 points even if you have 0 skill in it. Anyways, moving on. Trainers. Go up to an NPC and you can ask them to train a skill for you. Just type in their name and train, and they'll give you a list of things they can train you in. If you want to train something, you say their name, train, or teach, and the skill name, and then you can drop gold directly onto them with the amount they request, and they will teach you that skill. I usually only do like 2 or 3 skills, just because you'll spend all of your starting gold doing this if you try to train up all your skills, of course. You also just saw me use a vendor buy command. Everything in this server is text-based, so there's no right-click menus to interact with the NPCs. You have to type vendor buy, vendor sell. You might even have to type in the NPC's name and then buy or sell if there's a whole bunch of NPCs right next to each other. And then for accessing things like the bank, you say bank. So yeah, you just there's a list of all these commands on the main web page. But yeah, using vendor buy, vendor sell, and then their name and teach and stuff, that should help you get started. A good starting skill I would recommend training, even if you don't plan on keeping it, is Taming. You can go to the stables in Aklo and train it. What Taming will allow you to do is tame your own horses. So for about 200 gold, you hit the ability to tame all your own horses versus spending like 400 to 500 every single time your horse dies, which is bothersome because as a new player, when you die you don't lose anything, but you get dismounted and then monsters usually kill your horse. So buying lots of new horses will get expensive fast. Just spend 200 gold on the taming skill and you can tame all your own horses. You see I'm running here down past the bank. There's an area here in Aklo at the cotton fields, which you're also going to want to go to, where you can tame all the horses you want and then pick all the cotton or get wool from the sheep. Now I just used a macro to start taming that horse. Since you likely don't have hotkeys and macros set up, you can just open your skills menu and drag out buttons by clicking down on the skill and then dragging out to the side. You can drag out as many as you want. There's ones for hiding, taming, all kinds of stuff. You can also set up hotkeys in your Razor or in-game. There's multiple ways to do it. You can fiddle around with the options and figure that out. Anyways, once you have some things set up, you can get some cotton or wool. And of course, this is optional. I recommend it. You can go to the tailoring shop. You can use your world maps to find where that is. Just spin some of your own thread or wool on the spinning wheel, and then on the loom you can make your own cloth. Use scissors to cut it, and you got your own bandages. Now that is a lot of clicking, and before the video is over I will show you how to make a Razor macro for doing that. But right now I want to show some stuff about basic combat. You're likely going to want to just get right into it, so there are a few good locations in Aklo. You can fight outside, or you can go into these dungeons. There's a few entrances marked, again on your world map. Just go inside and you can start fighting stuff. Make sure your character is in war mode. There should be a little red button, peace or war, on the side of your paper doll or character model on the side there. Your character will swing a sword, shoot a bow, even just punch the enemy if you're standing next to him. And then you can also attack using spells and all that stuff, of course. This is a very mixed character, so I can use spells, swords, have tames attack it, use commands to control tames here as well, such as I'll kill, I'll stay, I'll follow. And then you can use your bandages on yourself. You can use them on your pets. You can even use them on people that you hire. You can go up to some NPCs and say hire, and hire them for a small amount of gold here. Back to combat. I'm looting things because when I kill them the corpses automatically open. That's a option you can select. You also saw me loot some hides off that lizard man. You can cut them using your dagger. Collecting resources like spined leather is a big thing for new players because you can sell it to other players for a lot of gold. Anyways, it's hard to collect resources when your starting strength might be really low. So some tricks to get around that are training up other skills like camping or herding. Camping's the easiest one. You just use your dagger on a tree, and then you ignite those in your backpack, and it'll start campfires around you, raising your camping skill, which raises your strength, dex, and intelligence. Now let's talk about Razor. I've been skipping over that. If you've gotten any loot from your fighting, you can go and you can say vendor sell. And that will bring up a menu which you can sell from, or if you have a sell agent active like I do, it'll automatically sell things selected. Be careful using a sell agent because it will automatically sell anything, even good weapons you might have unequipped or good armor. So yeah, just be careful with that. Set up the sell agent to a max of 5 because that's what it's set out on the server. So if you have like 100 gems, you can only sell 5 at a time, and you have to sell to the respective vendor type. So jewelers and provisioners will be buying the gems, blacksmiths buy weapons and armors, and stuff like that. But moving on to more Razor stuff, setting up your sell and buy stuff is great, and it will save you a lot of time, but macros is the main addition with Razor, in my opinion at least. Setting up a macro can save you a lot of clicking. So for like the camping one, instead of clicking your kindling over and over, you can easily just set up a macro to click the kindling for you and set it on a loop, and it saves you a lot of time. Setting the delay, you can see here, you can change it so it's as fast as you want or as slow as you want. The delay becomes much more important when you're doing things like crafting or even commands around combat, where things have to be either a second delay or maybe just a half a second. And for crafting, a lot of things have to be like 3-second delay, in between certain tasks. So you gotta set all that up, and it's not very difficult. If you don't like the way macros work or look, you can also try scripts. That's a new feature in Razor as well. Both scripts and macros are really just recording your actions and repeating them, so you don't have to do quite so much clicking. But moving on from that to targeting, you may have already seen me do it a few times in this video. I'm using Control-Shift to basically make a more targetable area over the enemies or whatever I'm trying to target, and then you can pull a health bar from that more easily. Another way you can target something is to drag and click. If you set that up in your options, you can either hold Shift or Control or whatever you want and drag over an area, and it will pick up all the targets. I'm just doing some tamed wolves here. If you want to break the health bars apart, you can hold down Alt or Control depending on how your thing is set up, and just click on the health bars and move them. Same with spell icons and all that other stuff. Once something's grouped together, right click doesn't close it, which is nice. So if you want to close something, you can just hold Alt, move it away and close it, or you can just group it with something else. If you are using a tame to start, or tamer to start, I wouldn't recommend using the stables for some of your first tames, because it's 30 gold for each pet you put in there, which will add up a little bit too fast as you're starting out, so I just rename and release my stuff. Also, if you're going to log out, it's a good idea to use the in Oklo. It will log your character out immediately versus waiting 5 minutes, so you can switch to a different character on your account or just not worry about that character being in the world for an extra 5 minutes. That is pretty much it for getting started. Just go out, start fighting stuff. There's no perfect build to get started with. If your build looks nothing like what I have going here, that's fine. The great thing about this game is how flexible it is. And then once your young status is over and you leave Oklo, you also get to be at the mercy of other players who want to come and kill you and take your stuff, or maybe that's what you want to do to them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this getting started video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them, and hopefully I see you guys around sometime in game.